I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, spotlighting the New Orleans area's arts and entertainment scene. Seated at our table tonight, author and historian Dr. Bill Reeves, with a new book on notable New Orleanians in time for the tricentennial. Welcome, kiddo.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Hello.
Pleasure.
Poppy Tucker, host of the radio program Louisiana Eats, airing twice weekly on WWNO Radio. The award-winning, I might add.
Thank you.
He's back. It's been far too long. Actor Brian Batt, opening next week in a play at Le Petit. Yay, Brian!
Yes.
With divinely inspired, we'll
yes,
say that.
Divine, yes.
And Steppin Out theater critic Alan Mason of theatercriticism.com. Poppy.
Well, I need to start off with a correction. However, we're going to start this with saying that Michelle Nugent, my culinary history hero, who has been the Jazz Fest food director for 19 years, had told me about 2.5 months ago, no more bricadas at the festival. Well, this year, Michelle not only brought Calaz to Jazz Fest, for me, I've begging her for 19 years, but not to upset festival goers, who it's just not festival if they don't have their bricadas lemon and strawberry ice. She's actually selling it from the strawberry lemonade booth only at the gospel tent. So it's available, but don't go looking for any bricadas over there, because there is no bricadas booth. Right. Now, you know, it's Mother's Day coming right up, and maybe people are worrying about what to do about mom. Or grads, lots of present giving this time of year. Well, you know, when Terrence Osborne was here, he said that his son is going to culinary school in the fall, to the Culinary Institute of America. And I said, well, here is a great graduation gift. Be a butcher for the day with Dario Caccini. This Tuesday, coming up, May 8th, from 10 until noon at Dickie Brennan's Steakhouse. It's only $100. He's going to do the disassembly of 2 complete animals. He comes from Panzano, Italy, where his family has operated a butcher shop for hundreds and hundreds of years. And so this is a chance to see an artisan at work like no other. Then, if maybe butchery isn't mom's thing, or the graduate, maybe mom would like to party like it's prohibition in the Count's Room this Thursday night at Arno's for just $75 from 7 until 9:30 p.m. There'll be a carving station with a suckling pig, a roast tenderloin, and a Gulf fish station with Meunier sauce and other sauces, a seafood station, past desserts, Prohibition-era cocktails, and wine and champagne. This is going to be really a fun party. You know, they just redid the Count's Room, their biggest room there, and they did it all Art Deco. It's very airtight. It's fabulous. And then Arno's party continues. Now, I'm giving you a preview of this because it's going to sell out. There's very few seats available. Wednesday, May the 23rd, for a Moet and Chandon champagne dinner. It's 4 courses that include 2 vintage years of Moet and Chandon, and the winemaker, a woman named Marie-Christine Oselin, will also be there. So get those reservations. That might be right up Mom's alley.
And of course, they're celebrating their centennial.
And so the party just continues.
The
and then this is also going to sell out, and that's why I'm talking about this so early. You know, Ralph Brennan decided to do this very wonderful thing, the giving table. And remember the fun when I got to have my picture taken with James Beard earlier this year at Brennan's, thanks to Ralph. Well, coming up on Friday, June the 8th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., for just a $100 ticket. Pay attention how cheap this is for what's going to happen, or inexpensive. You're going to begin at the Napoleon House with a light breakfast and a seminar looking at the 7 countries that helped shape New Orleans. And the authorities who will be speaking that day, Lolis Eli, Chris Montero, Jessica Harris, Loyola professors Justin Nystrom and Kristen Burton, Ryan Fertel, and Mr. Laborde. That would be Errol. And so they're going to, after you have this fantastic history seminar, it's going to finish with a lavish 5-course lunch and wine pairing at Brennan's. That's worth the $100. forget the seminar and breakfast at the Napoleon House. This is the deal of the century. I guarantee you nobody will be unhappy to receive a ticket to this event on Friday, June the 8th.
Absolutely. Thank you. Lots to look forward to. Bill Reeves, years in the making. So excited for you. I know you and your wife, Sally, have written many books. But this just in time, of course, for the tricentennial. Notable New Orleanians, a tricentennial tribute. And it must have been hard to choose who would be included in this, or was it?
Oh, we had a few criteria. First of all, I did the picking, so I didn't have to argue with anybody.
That's a good point.
And secondly, they had to be dead.
Okay.
So we didn't have people knocking on our door. You know, I'm a notable.
Now, I know it's hard because, you know, I'm asking you to choose some of your favorites, but first up, Louis Armstrong. Why for you?
Well,
apart from the obvious,
music in the 20th century, put on by blacks, is a historic event, and it's a whole era in New Orleans history, and Louis really started it all. And he was followed by quite a few other men, and we just have that as an era, the 1920s. He kind of
symbolizes everybody.
Really, the 1920s on up and through the 50s.
All right. And so, okay, so next up then you've got Baldwin Wood, and not everybody may be familiar with them, but they should be, shouldn't they?
Well, that's my favorite one. Early on, we said Baldwin Wood is our favorite. And the reason is he invented the pumps that we use to pump out our city.
To keep us relatively afloat, right?
Right. But more than that, you see, when he did it, the city was pretty much constrained to Claiborne Avenue. His pumps enabled the city to spread to the center of our little island here and out into the east. So I argue Baldwin Wood did more for the people of New Orleans than anybody else. That's why he's our number one.
Yes, and Walter Cohen.
Well, Walter Cohen is unknown in most communities. He is a businessman, late 19th century. He started off in politics, Republican Party politics, opened a series of businesses, insurance companies particularly, and when he died at the end of the 20s, he was a real charitable giver to the poor.
Now, 100 essays. It's chock full of photos, and I know you had some assistance from Howard Hunter and Sally Reeves and Carolyn Cobb. It's quite a big book to put together, isn't it? Gee
yes,
whiz.
Well, it was. Thank goodness it's out.
I'm sure you're glad about that, and it's available at all local bookstores, but you've got a special event next week.
Yes, on Tuesday night, the Louisiana Historical Society, who is sponsoring the book, is going to put on a lecture by me at 6330 St. Charles Avenue, right next to Audubon Park.
Okay.
And it's sort of open to the public.
Very good, very good. And the book will be available there, too.
Yes,
I take it. And let me just show, because I think it helps to have a context, even though we just show the cover, that it's very large, okay? And chock full of essays. Some of the essays are longer than others, but it's like little snippets, and you get to know about, of course, the Baroness, Pentalba,
one
and many
page
others.
per notable.
Okay.
But the book has a second part. And the second part are the sponsors of the book.
And a lot
there are
of
about 80 sponsors. These are all the black universities in New Orleans, Tulane University. But more than that, businesses.
And you give the history of the businesses, too.
And the history of the businesses in there. And those business histories are very hard to find as a historian. You know, I'll look up, what about this business in 1920? What can I say about it? I can't find anything about it. But this is going to create a little time frame.
Well, a good addition, of course, to anybody's New Orleans history reference bookshelf, too.
Ed Smith Stencil Works.
Yes, also there, too.
I picked that up right away. Because I didn't pick these businesses. This was done by the publisher.
Yeah.
I didn't know Ed Smith Stencil Works was founded in 1865.
So yeah, some intriguing
By
history.
Ed Smith.
By Ed Smith. There you go. What a surprise. Well, congratulations. And I know what it takes to put this together, and some rare images, also some wonderful drawings, and very precious things in addition of architecture, but a lot of great photos. There's Mr. James Robb too. So congrats.
Thanks.
And New Orleans Magazine quiz queen Julia Street has a question for us. Last time, Marianne Toohey gave us the names of 2 stages of the Jazz Fest where you would most likely hear Cajun music and traditional music. The answers: the Fay-Do-Do stage and Economy Hall, where I tend to live. Now tonight's question. Although he finished 3rd in the 1988 Kentucky Derby, this Louisiana-owned thoroughbred went on to win the Preakness and the Belmont. Name the horse and his 2 owners. Email your answers to steppinout@wyes.org. Our prizes: a year's subscription to Louisiana Life magazine, a dish towel with the message "Beyond a Reasonable Trout" from our friends at wearablevegetables.com, and appropriate Walk with the Derby this weekend, a copy of the book The Fairgrounds Through the Lens, with photos by Louis Hodges Jr. and text by me. You can go to wyes.org for our online calendar to see our lineup of events, including an exhibit about photographer Lee Friedlander at the New Orleans Museum of Art. You can also link to our WYES YouTube channel to see our program. Now, Brian.
Ooh.
Brian, are you feeling holy these days?
Yes, more than usual. Now I'm doing a play at Le Petit Theater, my first play since 1984 at Le Petit.
Of course, you've been on the board for a long time.
I've been on the board, now I'm emeritus, and helped the theater and done benefits and events, but never a full licensed play. And it's the regional premiere of An Act of God by David Javerbaum, who's won 13 Emmys for The Daily Show. And it's hysterical. It really is.
And it's just you?
No, it's me and 2 of my archangels.
All right.
I have like 40 pages of dialogue. They have practically like 1 between the 2 of them. So it's a little. And, this is the biggest role I've ever tackled. And I mean, Tom was saying, oh, you've done the Scarlet Pimpernel on Broadway, and you've done Joe Gillis on Broadway. Yeah, there are other people on stage, and there was you get to go off stage at points. I'm on stage the entire time, and it's a short show. It's just under an hour and a half. So
Brian,
yes.
What does God think about celebrities?
Oh, God, celebrities! Don't get me started. Look, America, stop making stupid people famous. Okay, okay, Kanye. The next time you win a Grammy and you thank me for your God-given talents, they're going to be God-taken. Hear what I'm saying? Matthew McConaughey, you won an Oscar. You talked me up big time. I know you think we're tight because of all the times you thought you saw me when you were high, but we're not. I do not help anybody act better. I don't help anybody sing better. That's not how I roll, but so many celebrities seem to think I do. That's why I said celebrities are my chosen people. Well, the Jews are also, but there's a lot of overlap. Celebrities are like me, worshipped, adored, tantrum-prone. We live in our own universe, and our public appearances are limited and for promotional purposes only. Just a little bit, yeah.
Very good.
It's very irreverent and fun, and it delves into some really interesting topics, like what if God was one of us? What if God really created mankind in his image? So that means we are kind of like God. Mm-hmm. Those same emotions and same, how you deal with your children. It's very interesting, and we, every day we find funnier things, and it really is a joy. So go get your tickets now. I can't guarantee a really great seat in heaven, but promise me, I will put in a good word for you if you do. LibertyTheater.com. Okay.
And Brian, there's even more to talk about because you have a book coming out in the fall.
Yes.
So just a quick sneak preview of that.
My writing partner, Katie Danos, and I wrote this. I really think it's something special. It's called Pontchartrain Beach, A Family Affair. And it all started, I've been wanting to do something because there's nothing about the beach.
Park,
the amusement
for our
park.
New Orleanians.
Yes,
the amusement park in New Orleans.
When my mom passed, we were going through the garage and cleaning out stuff, my brother and I, and we came across this box, marked PB, several boxes. And we opened it up, and it was all this memorabilia and photographs that we had never seen. Wow. Or we had last seen in my father's office many, many years ago. And the idea of the book came, and then I saw the float in Endymion And so many, all these New Orleanians were just so joyous about the memories. So I said, I have to do this. And I've learned so much about my grandfather, who started it back in 1928.
Was the quintessential showman.
He was actually an Iceman. The first line of the book is, my grandfather was an Iceman and he overcameth. Because he was an Iceman delivering ice on St. Charles and saw a Model T. He was on his cart with a horse. Our family had an ice business. And on the other side, he saw a Model T going down with a refrigerator. He said, I've got to get out of this business. And he thought, what does New Orleans need? And we needed family entertainment, and the rest is history. But he was a fascinating man.
Well, many of us, of course, very fondly remember the Bally High.
Well, yes.
And I am so glad that you are including drink recipes.
Oh, yes, they're official drink
question.
recipes. And yes, and your wedding,
Oh,
your
yes,
reception
our wedding
was
reception.
at Valley High.
Valley
and
High.
it's also not, it's a little bit of, it's history, but it's also stories, my family stories, and also we put it out there in the papers and in social media about, so many people that used to work there and visited, had all their different stories, and a lot of them are in there.
Did you get good feedback?
Great feedback.
So you got some great photos?
It was so heartwarming that all the feedback was so joyous and so celebratory. The book is going to be a big tribute to the amusement park, but also to that entrepreneurial spirit and just, having fun. It's of a bygone day, but there's still more fun to be had.
Coming in the fall.
Coming in the fall,
Pelican. At the same time.
Yes.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
Yes. Poppies.
The Manally's book.
Manally's book, too.
And I want to add another thing. Sally Reeves' book on City Park mentioned how important the Bat family was to the creation, like the trains.
That's in the book, too.
Amazing.
There's a chapter
people don't know about that.
That's
Storyland, all of that.
There's a chapter called Beyond the Beach.
Interconnection here.
Right.
And because my grandfather did a lot of outreach, the universities and but also the trains in City Park and Storyland. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And what, bringing Elvis to?
Well, that's one of my favorite pictures in the book. We found a picture of my grandfather with Elvis, and he actually said, he goes, "That boy's going to go places."
Absolutely.
You're right, Daddy. Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you for the reminder. That's a very good point. And now it is time, though, for our Artist Spotlight. Tonight we are showcasing the work of New Orleans artist George Schmidt. Known for his classical style and historical paintings, his versatility is evident in a work called Flowers. Look at that. It's so different from his. And we also have All Saints. His vision of Catholic saints connected to our city, he also has that in an etching, too. He has both oil and limited edition etchings, including jazz history-related ones. My favorite, which actually I own, is Louis Armstrong as King Zulu. He's got those, too. George's gallery is on Julia Street. He's been there since the 70s, by the way. Wow. He is regularly open Tuesday through Saturdays from 12:30 to 4:30, but his gallery will also be open this Saturday from 6 to 8 for the Jammin' on Julia event, which is tomorrow night. Galleries from the 300 block to the 500 block of Julia will be open, and there will be live music and food available as well. Visit artdistrictneworleans.com for more info. And now, Alan.
Well, the Tony Awards have been announced in Broadway, but the theater season is starting to really gear up now that this final week of Jazz Fest is upon us and waning. Some major openings like Rivertown's Little Shop of Horrors, which opens tonight and this weekend. Then, of course, later on, the NOLA Project's The Three Musketeers is coming up this week. And, of course, we cannot forget, it's Brian as the Lord of Hosts in Act of God. Thou shalt plug thy show. Yes, all would seem right with the theatrical world, but yesterday I received some troubling news, and that was that a very prominent local theater company that we had given kudos just last week, talking about the Big Easy Awards, of course the Cripple Creek Company, who took their name from the band's pop hit, and under artistic director Andrew Vaught, have just announced that they are going to be going away in 2018. So again, major performers like Emily Whelan and Ian Hawke, they all prospered under this company for the last 12 years. Now, like the band's Last Waltz, they've announced that they're going to have their own Last Waltz, as it were. It's called the Dreamatorium Fundraiser, and they're going to be trying to raise some money for their final act, if you will, which will be Sueño. And this is going to be actually playing at various venues, including the Bridge House, the Grace House, a prison, a community center, as well as camping out at the steps of City Hall before they actually take up a permanent venue for the run of the show at the Unitarian Universalist Church. That'll be at the end of the month, so we'll talk about that more as it gets closer. There will be an original play by Andrew Vaught during this. Again, though, if you'd like to support Cripple Creek in their last efforts, that's the Dreamatorium fundraiser. It is a shame. And again, part of the fallout, I think, with part of that corridor along St. Claude Avenue sort of losing its luster. So we'll keep a mind of that.
Just a quick tidbit. During the week, I got to see the newly restored Ty Tracy Theater.
Yes, and I wasn't invited. I was ashamed. I wanted to come. I really would have loved to have been there.
Play?
No.
See, I think that's what happened, was people who had been in plays.
Yeah,
but anyway, not that you were
But anyway, I knew about it, and
but
Scott Hutchison.
Groups.
Exactly. Scott had told me about it. Scott Hutchison from the city, and I was really looking forward to it. I said, "Oh, I'll get my invitation." I never came, but that's okay. Now, for those of us who are interested, Rivertown Theaters, when they made their season announcement, they were conspicuously absent about talking about their summer musical. They finally announced it, and it's going to be Mamma Mia. Of course, it's always a big crowd pleaser, Mamma Mia. The fact can't be hurt, though, that the fact is that they've got the movie coming out, Mamma Mia 2, with Cher, so they're going to go, I think, a little bit on that too, and hopefully people who love Mamma Mia will be able to see this jukebox musical featuring the music of ABBA. That'll be at the Rivertown Theaters in July. Now, Goat in the Road, one of the other theater companies we would talk about, unusual in nature, they're going to be having their Playwright Showcase, which is a week from Monday. This is to encourage young writers to show off their talents and to actually have some of their performances done from paper onto the board. So we'll see what happens with that. That's going to be at the Cook Theater at Dillard University. And they're also holding a Festival of Works from May the 11th through the 20th. It's called the Forge Festival, and it's going to be various nights. They're going to have 4 plays. We'll start with The Night with Mr. Bismuth with Dylan Hunter. He's going to be playing a 23rd century talk host. Shakespeare, that's right, Shakespeare. It's a free show, and it combines theater with drinking games. Machine A with Cecile Montaigne, the award-winning, and again, Chris Kamenstein, they're going to be doing that. And then This Must Be the Place, which is a very innovative installation. It's an interactive art piece. That'll be the Forge Festival from May the 11th through the 20th. And then on the North Shore, those of you who have not had a chance to see it yet, the Slidell Little Theater is presenting Morticia Gomez Adams and the whole family. They're going to be talking about the Adams family there. Some of you may recall this particular musical had its North American tour premiere right here in New Orleans. And I haven't seen this iteration of the show yet, but I can recommend it for its funny book. It's quite delightful songs. And you know, When You're in Adams is a great opener for the show. And then that plaintive The Moon and Me, which I love so much. Again, the Adams Family musical plays weekends through May the 13th. And that's pretty much the theater scene as we have it right now.
But you know, something else to look forward to, though, eventually, Southern Rep opening. And I know you've been involved with Southern Rep, for many years.
Time, yeah.
But at St. Rose de Lima, so hopefully that'll happen next year as well.
That's correct.
So some good news.
Very good. You know, we have a lot going on here, but like I say, we have 2 seasons here, before and after Mardi Gras and before and after Jazz Fest. It's true.
Right. And now time for our picks. Bill, once again, where is this book available?
Well, it's available at the Octavia Bookstore, Garden District, and Barnes & Noble.
Okay.
And it's going to be available next Tuesday night at 6330 St. Charles Avenue.
Yes,
We're going to have a lecture.
Yes. Okay, Poppy.
Tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo, and my pick is Celebrate at Aranya Taqueria and Cantina on Magazine Street, where there'll be live music, an outdoor bar with specialty cocktails, food from that great chef who I love, Richard Papier, and a piñata with real prizes. I mean, what fun!
And you can take your Brian bat to hit it, right?
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
All right.
So, Brian, so many things to talk about, including a song, which we'll hear a little bit during the credits. Set this up.
My friend Lawrence Gobble wrote this wonderful song called Come Back to New Orleans. And he asked me to record it, and we recorded it, and it's available all over Amazon Music, CD Baby, you name it. And it's the first time I've had a single, so it's called Come Back to New Orleans.
That's easier to do.
Yeah, it's online, but get your tickets for Act of God. If you think termites are bad, wait till I send my locusts. That's right.
Start saving money for the book.
Exactly.
Well, I've heard about a couple of musical acts coming in. First off, my friend Michael Wolf is coming in with the Wolf Project that he has on May the 19th at Snug Harbor, and also Gary Negbar, who is from New York and comes down to New Orleans very frequently. I'd like to give him a shout out. He's going to be at the Columns Hotel on Saturday, May the 5th. I'd like to just let everybody know that he's going to be be performing, and he loves New Orleans. He loves to come down here, and if it weren't for the fact he was raising his son up there, I think he'd be down here more often.
All right, all right. And before I go to my picks, congratulations to Mrs. Gail Benson for having her thoroughbred Lone Sailor tomorrow, and then she's right in there at the front with the blue and white, of course, the wonderful silks. And that, by the way, is James Graham riding Lone Tailor. Here you go. And he'll be on Lone Tailor tomorrow during the Kentucky Derby. The trainer, also a New Orleans connection, Tom Amos, longtime New Orleans-based trainer, and Kentucky. He goes back and forth. But best of luck to all of them. And there are actually a lot of jockeys who are usually at the fairgrounds. You've got Florent Giraud and Desormeaux, lots of New Orleans connections to that tomorrow. And 5:34 is post time, even though they're talking about the Kentucky Derby for hours and hours before. So you'll have plenty of time to have a mint julep, and it'll be shown on Channel 6, right?
It's all about the hats.
It's all about the hats, too. Yes, and there's another connection. I know Yvonne LaFleur gets a lot of orders for hats for the Kentucky Derby. Anyway, and now my picks. Don't miss the Thursday at Twilight concert series at City Park next Thursday night, featuring a performance by Lena Prima. That's at the Pavilion of the Two Sisters. And visit City Park's website for more information. There are a lot more concerts coming up also at the Enrique Alvarez Sculpture Garden, too. Looking ahead, there will be a lecture and demonstration at the Historic New Orleans Collection by Eddie Boyd, titled Traditional Herbal Remedies at the African American Community, within the community. The event is in conjunction with the HNOC's incredible new exhibit, New Orleans, the Founding Era. The lecture will be held next Saturday at 1 o'clock, and it goes from 1 to 4 with the demonstrations. Visit the HNOC's website for more information. And now we leave you with a bit of Brian's new song, once again the title.
Come Back to New Orleans.
Come Back to New Orleans, composed by Lawrence Goebel. And listen up, it's available in iTunes, Spotify, and Amazon, to name a few. Thank you all so very much, and thank you for watching. Good night.
Come back to New Orleans, walk the quarter with me, and we'll ride the Mississippi on down to the sea. My soul is a river, and it's flowing strong, even though you just left. You've been gone too long. In only one night, how can so much be given? This town grabs hold of you, and it's part of my living. From Bourbon to Royal, the streets are calling my name. And there's something about you that I won't be the same. Come back to New Orleans, and then we can see, was this just a moment?